Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rabbi Cass from the SoferCenter.com. Today's video is going to be a guide to purchasing tefillin. Before I start, I should say that I do have plans in Mitzvah Hashem to make 3 videos, each one explaining a different component of the tefillin. We know that the tefillin have 3 components, the Parshios, the Batim, and the Retzuos. I will be making videos explaining in depth each component of the tefillin. For example, the Parshios, what are the different types of writing and the different levels of the writing. The Batim will be the second video, explaining the different types of Batim, the methods of making them, the skins. The third video, I will explain the Retzuos, the straps, the different straps that are available, the widths, and also discuss the various knots which are typically used with the tefillin. Now, I hope to make those videos in the coming weeks, but whether you decide to watch those videos to actually learn everything there is to know about every component of the tefillin, or whether you decide to just call up a Sofer on the phone and order a pair of tefillin, there are 4 things you must absolutely take into consideration when ordering the tefillin. The first thing you need to take into consideration when buying a pair of tefillin is, where are you buying the tefillin from? Why is this important? Well, I think if you take the time to watch the videos that I'll be creating, each one explaining a different component of the tefillin, this question will answer itself. But suffice it to say that for each component of the tefillin, an enormous amount of trust has to be placed in the Sofer who's preparing this tefillin for you to make sure that it's done according to your needs and your standards. By watching these videos, which I'll be explaining in great detail each component of the tefillin, you'll know what kind of a tefillin you need. But it doesn't stop at knowing what you need. Knowing what you need is important, but getting the tefillin from the right source is equally important. I can't tell you how often people bring me a pair of tefillin for checking, and they're under the impression that they have a really beautiful, really mahudar pair of tefillin, when in fact it's a very basic kosher pair of tefillin. Now, it is possible that a basic kosher pair of tefillin is all that you need, but that's something that you have to take into consideration. This tefillin that you're buying, is it for yourself as a spare pair, a backup pair, or is this a pair of tefillin being bought for yourself, your son, or your grandson, which is going to be their primary pair, a pair of tefillin which they're going to use every single day to fulfill the mitzvah of tefillin? So by getting the tefillin from the right source, you can be absolutely certain that however you want the tefillin to be made, it will be made right according to your standards and your needs. The second thing you need to take into consideration is when to order the tefillin. How much in advance? It's a question I get asked all the time. Is 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year? How much in advance do I need to order the tefillin? So in order to answer this question properly, I have to make a distinction between the Parshios and the Batim and the Retzuos. Batim and Retzuos, that's the boxes and the straps of the tefillin, are made in factories with several workers, versus the Parshios, which are being written by one Sofer from beginning to end. Now with the Batim and Retzuos, if somebody's not able to show up to work one day because they have a family simcha or they're under the weather, then somebody else could fill in, and there really is no slowdown in production, versus a Sofer who it's a one-man show. He's writing it from beginning to end. Anything that comes up in his life could potentially cause a delay in the writing of the Parshios. The other distinction between Parshios and Batim and Retzuos is that because the Batim and Retzuos are being made by several people, they're able to mass produce it, versus the Parshios is being written by one Sofer, one at a time. So if you want to have really high quality, really high level Batim, no problem. They're always available. They're making several at a time. Versus the Parshios, the nicer they are, the more demand there are for those Parshios, the more people want them, the longer you're going to have to wait for your turn for the Parshios to be yours. Now, with that being said, I should say, and again, I can't speak for other Sofrim, I can only speak for myself, is that I'm constantly ordering Parshios from Sofrim in advance. Which means that normally if you would say, oh, I want to get a really nice mahudar pair of tefillin, and I'm going to call up the cipher to order the Parshios, he'll tell me that, yes, it's a 6 months or 8 month wait. But I don't wait to get the orders. I'm constantly ordering Parshios in advance in anticipation of future orders which I'm going to get, which basically translates to, at any given time, I almost always have mahudar Parshios, and any level Parshios, more basic, medium, and mahudar Parshios in stock, in order that I could accommodate my clients. Now, with that being said, because sometimes I could get more orders than film which I have in stock, it is possible that I don't have a really nice mahudar pair of tefillin in stock, and it might be a wait time. So, if this is a pair of tefillin for yourself, and you need and you're looking to upgrade your tefillin, or you're maybe just looking to buy your first pair of tefillin and you want to get a really nice, beautiful pair of tefillin, You don't have to anticipate waiting a year. Give me a call. I'll see what I have in stock. If I have something nice, which generally speaking I do, I'll be happy to accommodate you. And if not, I'll tell you, and we'll see how long it'll take to get the Mahudar Parshios. But if this tefillin is for a son or a grandson who's putting on tefillin some time away, there's no sense in waiting till the day that you need it to order the tefillin. Well, not the day of, because even when you order the tefillin, it takes a couple of days to assemble it, put it together. So when you're ordering a pair of tefillin for a son or a grandson, I recommend making that call to the Sofer 1 year in advance. That way, even if you decide to get the most mahudar and most beautiful tefillin, and there's a delay and the Parshios not in stock, 1 year, generally speaking, is more than enough time to order Parshios and have them ready for the first day that this boy will be putting on tefillin. Now, with that being said, what day is the boy putting on tefillin? A lot of Hasidim have the custom to wear tefillin a couple of weeks early. Some have 1 month, some have 2 months. I can't tell you how many times this happened, at least in the beginning when I first started selling tefillin. Somebody will tell me a date when they need to have the tefillin for their son or grandson, and then 2.5 months before it needs to be ready, they're calling me up. Oh, I didn't realize our custom is to put on tefillin 2 months early, and it's a little tricky, especially if it's something which had to be waited for the Parshios. We're waiting for the Parshios, and it's not something in stock. So that's the second thing you have to take into consideration when ordering a pair of tefillin, is how much in advance you have to order them, and make sure you know that date when the tefillin need to be ready for. The third thing you need to take into consideration is, what's your minhag? Ashkenaz, Sfarad, Chabad. How should the knots be tied? What style writing should you have? Beis Yosef, Arizal. And again, I'll go into this in much more detail in the videos where I talk about the knots and the Retzuos and the Parshios. Each video I'll go into explaining what the different customs are. But if you don't watch those videos, this is still something you have to know. I can't tell you how often people come to the office, give me a pair of tefillin to check. They're Ashkenaz and they have Sephardi tefillin, or vice versa. Make sure, whoever you're ordering the tefillin from, if you don't watch the videos and you don't know what your nusach is, if you're buying them from the right source, they should be able to help you figure out what your custom is and what your minhag is in order that the tefillin be made according to your minhag. The fourth thing that you have to take into consideration when ordering a pair of tefillin is whether whoever the tefillin's for, if it's yourself, son, and grandson, is whether they're right-handed or left-handed. I'll explain exactly what the difference is of the Batim in the video where you watch me explaining the Batim of the tefillin. But for this video alone, I can't tell you how many times people come to the office. Even myself, my own tefillin. I remember by my Bar Mitzvah, my father brought me to the Sofer the night before I was going to pick up the tefillin, and I'm a lefty, as I'm sure probably many of you viewers know, because if you watch my videos, you know. And I went to pick up my tefillin, and my father says, "You remember that I told you he's a lefty, right?" So the Sofer was like, he looked at my father with a blank stare, like, and he's like, "No, I didn't." And worse than, see, in a situation where this happens, I always have lefty Batim in stock, righty Batim in stock. I could change the Batim in a day and have it switched if such a thing were to happen. Although it did never happen, because I'm very sensitive, as you can imagine. What he did was he basically cut out the other side of the yad to make it fit for a lefty knot. And I remember the night. Well, he did the next day, but I remember that night I left with my father without my tefillin. I was devastated, and it was sometimes the Sofer could fix it, like my Sofer did, who I bought my tefillin from. He was able to fix it. He just cut out the other side. If such a thing happened to me, which it never has, I could switch it in a day. I have lefty Batim. But imagine you're somewhere remote where you don't have a Sofer able to do this for you, and you're in I don't know, somewhere in Texas where I don't know if there's any Sofer there, and you're ordering a pair of tefillin and it comes delivered and it's tied wrong. It's for a lefty and you're a righty, you're a lefty. You'll be in a pickle. You'll be stuck in this situation. So make sure you order. If you're a righty, make sure you order righty, lefty, lefty. Now, yes, like I say, I've had so many stories, and this is why I'm making this video, because I want it to be, when you order your pair of tefillin, everything should be right, seamless, no mistakes. I've had people, I ask this, again, I don't make these mistakes anymore, but right in the beginning when I was first selling tefillin, people made these mistakes. I say, "Are you a righty or a lefty?" I say, "Oh, I'm a righty." Okay, so I make them a pair of tefillin, which goes on the left hand, because if you're right-handed, you wear tefillin on your left hand. And they come to pick up the tefillin. This has happened. I said I never put something in the wrong Batim. Not on my mistake, only on their mistake. That in this situation, they told me they're righty. I made them tefillin for the left hand. So they come up on the phone and said, "No, I'm a righty for tefillin," meaning I put tefillin on my right hand, so I'm a lefty. Or the other way around. I had this happen a few times. And if you order tefillin on my website, you'll see it's very clear, distinct. Which hand do you put tefillin on? Is it right hand or is it left hand? I don't want to know if you're a righty or a lefty, because I don't want people to make that mistake. And even so, when I get an order on the website, when somebody's a lefty, I always call them up just to confirm it, because I want to make sure I don't want there to be any mistakes. So that's the fourth thing that you have to take into consideration when ordering a pair of tefillin. Again, just to recap, the first thing you have to take into consideration is where you buy your tefillin from. The second thing you have to take into consideration is how much in advance do you need to order the tefillin. The third thing you need to take into consideration is what's your minhag, as far as the tying of the Retzuos and the style, the writing of the Parshios. The fourth thing you need to take into consideration is whether you're left-handed or right-handed. Now, with this being said, I hope that this gives you some clarity when it comes to ordering your pair of tefillin for yourself, your son, your grandson, and that you should be able to buy the tefillin and feel like you know what you're buying. I mean, sometimes people come into the office and they know what they want, and they kind of know what they want, and sometimes people come to the office and they have no idea, they're overwhelmed and they don't know, and I'm like, don't worry, I'll break it down, I'll make it clear. And like I do for everybody that comes into the office to buy a pair of tefillin, I'm going to do that for you on these videos, so that when you're ready to buy your tefillin for yourself, your son, or your grandson, you'll feel confident that you'll know what you're buying and that you're getting exactly what you want to buy. Oh, one last thing, it's going to be a 3-part video series. So the first one's going to be part 1, the Parshios. The second one's going to be part 2, the Batim. And the third one's going to be part 3, explaining the Retzuos. Now, in each video, let's say you don't need a whole pair of tefillin. Maybe you just want to upgrade one component to the tefillin. So in each video, I will be putting a link to my website. Let's say in the video for the Parshios. Let's say you checked your tefillin, or whatever, or you know you bought yourself a pair of tefillin several years ago, was a more basic, and you want to upgrade the Parshios. So in each video explaining the particular component of the tefillin, I will put a link to my website to that component of the tefillin if you want to upgrade it, or if you just want to buy or replace that particular component of the tefillin. Maybe you just need new boxes. There'll be a link in the box in the Batim video for my website where you could buy nice brand new Batim. So too with the Retzuos. As well as in each video, I will put a link to purchasing a complete set of tefillin from my website. So if I'm able to help you with this mitzvah of tefillin, it'll be my honor, it'll be my pleasure. So I look forward to you joining me on this journey as I explain each one of the components of the tefillin. And when those videos are made, I will add them into this video, like a link, how you could put the videos on the screen. So you're going to see these videos as I add them one by one, and you'll see them on the screen over here and over here. So subscribe to the channel so when those videos come out, you'll be the first to know. Like this video, so anybody else who's looking to buy a pair of tefillin, this video will show up for them to see. And I'll see you on the next videos. Totally excited. See you guys.